Throw in the towel to supersize your business. What the heck does that mean? Throwing in the towel, of course, even if you've never boxed, which is where this term came from boxing mid 1800s, I believe, in Britain, when a boxer was getting totally beaten all to heck by his opponent. Often his manager or a friend would throw in the towel or throw a sponge. They use sponge and towels to clean up boxers. I guess I'm not a boxing fan, sorry to admit. No, I'm not sorry. that they would throw in a towel and signify the end of the fight. The person, the boxer, was saying, I quit, I'm done, I can't take anymore. And guess what? It was better than the alternative, which could be dead, right? You could actually get yourself beaten to death in the boxing ring. Well, sometimes we can get ourselves beaten to death in the business world, right? If we're going down a road that maybe isn't right for us. So I want to encourage you today to throw in the towel sometimes, to quit sometimes. Now, I will never, ever tell anyone to quit their business or throw in the towel in their business, because I personally believe that there's always a way to figure things out and to make things happen. I will, however, coach and encourage and help and really help people to decide when it's time to throw in the towel on an idea, a direction, a project, a product or service that they're offering that is not in their own best interest. I will encourage people to throw in the towel on customers that are not good for their business. I will encourage people to throw in the towel on things in their life that aren't good for them or their business. I think of, and I really love this expression, because I am one of those diehard people that says, don't quit, never quit. And the first thing that popped in my head when I thought of this and read this saying this morning was like, yeah, I would never throw in the towel. I'm not going to quit. And I have been guilty of sticking with things that were not in my own best interest way longer than I should have, up to and including the point of so much nonsense being created in my life and turmoil and chaos that I had a sudden cardiac arrest and died. Now, I'm going to encourage you to never get to the point where you are so stressed out and freaked out and involved and embroiled in chaos in many areas of your life that you think that it's better to drop dead than to make changes and fix the things that are going wrong in your business or in your life. Or maybe they're not going wrong, but they're just not the right thing for you. I have personally been, I stayed in my marriage a couple of decades longer than I should have, thinking I was doing the right thing, because we always do what we think is right at the time, right? Every decision, every choice we ever make is, and pat yourself on the back for this, is the best one at the instant that we made it. The time that we make a decision or choice, even if it's like something bad, the second that we make that decision and that moment that we make that choice, we believe, and our subconscious believes, that that is the best choice, the best decision, the best thing for us to do at the time. Yet sometimes, hindsight's 2020, we find out that, yeah, that was maybe not such a good idea. You know what? My marriage was an example of that. I've been in business with business partners that were bad, and I can't, that's putting it so kindly and mildly. It's amazing. But instead of cutting bait and getting out of that situation when I knew that I should, and that I first discovered that that was not going down the road I wanted it to, I stuck with it because I didn't want to quit, right? I didn't want to throw in the towel and think that I was quitting. And I had to redefine quitting and actually know that we can do that. Quitting isn't necessarily quitting. If we're making a choice that is better for us, then it's not quitting. It's progressing. It's continuous improvement. It's following our heart. It's supersizing and growing our business in the direction it should be growing, instead of sticking to a plan or a product or a service or an idea or a thought or a customer base that is bad for us. I actually, in my Italian food manufacturing business, had to fire or let go our biggest, and I'm talking 80% of our sales volume went through this customer. I had to fire them. That was one of the scariest things I ever did. And I put that decision off to the detriment of my business and my employees and myself and my health for a year. I waited a year after I knew that that was going to be a problem, and it was a huge problem for my organization. And once I decided that, I waited a whole year before I let that customer go. Now, I don't know what the whole impact would have been had I done it when I first knew about it. Had I moved forward in the business, probably would have been a lot better. The business probably would have recovered faster, grown faster. I wouldn't have lost good people. A whole lot of things, a whole lot of dominoes that fell because I put off that decision. I didn't quit working with that customer until I got to the point where it was so bad I had to do it. I had to do it because I wasn't going to put myself and my employees and all of us through any of that stress and BS anymore, right? Same thing with my marriage. Same thing with, bad business partners. Jobs. Have you ever had a job where and maybe it was the right job for me at the time when I took it, but I changed, the business changed, the company structure changed, and then it became not the right job for me anymore. Or I learned everything I went there to learn, and I wasn't growing and developing anymore. And I knew at a certain point that it was time to move on, yet I would put that decision off sometimes for a couple of years before I said, okay, I'm done being happy here. I need to go find something else where I can contribute more and where I can personally grow and develop and be a better asset to this particular business. And then finally, I left corporate America altogether because that was the next stage in my personal development. It wasn't quitting being a corporate executive. It was moving on to something I felt was better for me. So I guess the lesson in throwing in the towel here today is it's okay to throw in the towel. It's okay to quit something, but I will put a caveat on this, only if you are moving on to something that makes you feel better. We don't just quit because we give up and it gets hard and it gets challenging, because that's going to happen, right? Life is not easy. Wish it was sometimes, but no, I don't. Because all of the experiences that I've had, that I've really had massive growth and really moved my life ahead on, have always been the bad things that have happened, the challenges, the things that I thought were the end of the world at the time, but I found out those were actually some of the greatest gifts and greatest blessings in my life, including dropping dead. Best thing that ever happened to me. How many people can say that? Probably not very many. So today, think about, is there something in your life, in your business, that if you threw the towel in or stopped doing, you would have the time and the energy and the resources to put toward doing something that would move your business so much further ahead. I was one of those employers that I loved it when people left me, and people almost never left me, but when they did, I loved it because I always knew they were going on to something that was better for them. So always look for the something that's better for your business. And if that means you have to throw in the towel on a project, or if you have to let someone go, or if you have to find a new team member, or if you have to move in a different direction or pick a different customer group, do what you have to do to grow and supersize your business, because that's why you're here. That's it. Have a fantastic day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another little interesting tidbit and another different way of looking at some of the things that we look at all the time, but we forget to see.